Have you
content.
seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
We're talking about golf instruction. We're not selling people.
We're selling pins.
Penny stocks. Okay, we're trying to get people to get better at this game of golf. You know what I'm saying?
Unlike other people that don't do that.
There's a lot of bad stuff out there, isn't there? It's a big week. It's our fourth and final major of the year, the Open Championship. And it's an exciting week for a lot of you because this is where golf, the home of golf, right?
The home of golf.
The home of golf. And everybody is all jazzed up to see if Rory McIlroy can win his next major. But I got to tell you right now, there's a lot of good players playing a lot of good golf. This Scottish Open this past weekend was pretty exciting to see all the big names up on top.
It's fun to watch.
Pretty fun to watch. Let's talk about our predictions.
I got Bryson DeChambeau.
Ooh.
I think he's going to bring it home. He's going to go back to back. He's been in contention every major.
Nice pick. So you're just taking Bryson.
Colin Morikawa. I got Colin Morikawa and Bryson DeChambeau.
So you're taking Colin Morikawa and Bryson DeChambeau. I'm going to take Rory and Ludwig. We need one sort of...
Bryce Harmon.
Who?
What's his name?
Brian Harmon.
Brian Harmon. I almost said Butch Harmon.
All right. So you take Brian Harmon. I'll take Cam Smith. How about that?
Okay, that's good.
All right. We have had a lot of requests. I mean, a lot of requests about doing videos on elbow pain. And leaving the golf course feeling like you got to go home and wrap around one of those big ice packs around your elbows
We don't want to do that.
does not sound like a good cup of tea to have. But it's completely avoidable. And you'd be surprised to know how much your shoulders play a role in your elbow pain. Your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists are all a vital part of the system. They really are. And what we're going to be doing here today is we're going to be talking about how they need to support one another through the swing shape and they need to be in the right spot. But we're also going to be reflecting back on a video that we just released with the right knee and the right ankle and talking about the importance of being able to move properly in transition. And we have the man himself who swings a golf club with insane speeds and has been playing some pretty decent golf this year. We have Rory McIlroy on the box today. Why did we choose him?
Because he has phenomenal elbows and he has a lot of speed.
He's got phenomenal elbows. Rory McIlroy, if you're watching this video, Race Jansen thinks that you have phenomenal elbows. That is fantastic.
Not like that, though.
The Jaysisms are absolutely out of this world good. And that was probably one of my favorites. Rory McIlroy has got a good system of movements, but he also has a lot more videos on the internet that we can find to do analysis on. Let's just be honest, right? We found a lot of Robert McIntyre videos, but they look like they were filmed with a toaster. And we know that at home, you guys want high quality. So we're bringing you high quality. Isn't that right?
That's right. Every day.
We're going to kick off the video in high gear today. We're going to be focusing in on the right foot and knee action, just so you guys can see exactly what I was talking about in the previous video. We're going to give you a little enhancement to that one. And there might be a new drill that might be coming out inside of this one. Get excited.
There might be.
There might be. But most importantly, we're going to be focusing in on the position of the shoulders, the elbows, and the wrists down in front of the body. Because a lot of you at home don't realize that most of the damage that you create on your elbows is done in the hitting area. But a lot of it is set up outside the hitting area. And if we can give you a good sample of what's to come here, then you can start getting the wheels turning in your brain and know that, hey, you know what? I'm going to come back and watch those next two videos because they're going to be important for me in my golfing career. But there's also going to be some drills inside of those videos that are going to help you release the club properly and help you fix a lot of the common faults that we see with elbow positions in the golf swing. Sounds pretty exciting.
Sounds very exciting.
I think that's pretty exciting.
Well, let's put it into elbow pain, Chris. Let's get started.
Let's put an end to elbow pain, Jace Ranson says. Let's get to work. If you guys are brand new to the channel, do me a big favor. Head down below, subscribe to the channel. We are getting absolutely whacked on the YouTube front.
Whacked.
You know what that means? We need your help at home. We need you to help us by heading down below, subscribing, and make sure you turn on your bell notifications because that way you actually get notified when we put out new content. There's a lot of you at home that haven't been getting notified. There's a lot of you at home that are watching our stuff that probably like our stuff and have not yet taken the time to head down below and subscribe. So do that for us now, and then if you like today's video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post it up below. And I also think, Jason, I want to hear about your picks for the week. Pick 3. Pick 2 that you consider your front runners, and then 1 dark horse. So first order of business, you know that I talk about the golf swing being 3 major systems. You have your body, you have your arms, and you have your wrists. And one of the things that we're going to be reflecting on here first, before we start talking about the elbows and the wrists specifically in the second half of the video, is we're going to be talking a little bit more about what we just released in our previous video, where we talked about how to use the right foot, the right knee, and the right hip in transition to help get your system started. Because we get this question all the time. We had a lot of great questions on that video, and if you have not yet seen that video, take a moment, go watch that, and then come on back so this makes a little bit more sense to you. But one of the questions that we get is, should I be using my trail side or my lead side mostly in the downswing? You should be using both sides of the body. The golf swing is happening insanely fast, but you don't want to use one side more than the other when it comes down to it, because you can cause a magnitude of faults, and you can put your body in harm's way very, very quickly unless you rebalance your equation. So when we look at Rory from a down the line perspective, I want you to look at the line that I've drawn in front of his knee here. And what you're going to notice is that that knee pulls back inside of it quite a bit because we're rotating the right hip back. And as we start to move off of that trail side into the lead side, okay, so all that pressure is starting to move from the trail leg into the lead leg, you're going to see that his knee actually moves through that line. Just like I said in the other video. You'll see that some players do go through that line. But most of you at home are going to have that trail knee and that trail hip continuing to move forward when your hands and arms are way down in front of your body. That's what's going to get you into trouble. But I want you to watch this very closely, what his knee actually does as the left side of the body starts to pick up the pace. So the left hip, left leg have really started to accelerate. He's driving that ankle into the ground and he's rotating that hip back and away. And if you look very closely, the knee is not very much through that line at all. It's like a quarter of an inch, where most of you are going to see a large portion of your knee through that line. That's because after you get your weight transferred onto your lead side, you're not doing enough from the lead side of the body. You want to make sure that you have a good post-up movement. And a good post-up movement is you driving down into that lead ankle and using your lead side obliques to help rotate the hip back. If you're just going to rely on the trail side, then there's a pretty good chance that you're going to run into more issues than you want to have. But I also thought that it would be a good idea to kind of show you this from a different angle, because this is a brilliant angle for you to be able to see the right foot action and how it starts to kind of trickle up the stream here through the right knee and the right hip. And as you start to see the weight moving off of this trail side, watch this ankle very closely. You can kind of see it slide on the ground. So that ankle kind of rolls in. Weight's moving to the interior portion of the right foot. Right knee starts to come forward to that line. Now if you look at the right hip, it's starting to move forward. Now we've got all that pressure moved onto the lead side. And that lead leg and lead hip are going to start working really hard to clear up out of the way. That's a very solid movement with both sides of the system working in unison with one another. That's a great way for you to think about how to get your lower half working. Start giving it some help right away, and then use the lead side of the body to help post up. But now what we're going to do is we're going to look at the shoulders and the arms, and we're going to look at impact specifically, because I know a lot of you at home struggle with getting your shoulders and your arms in the wrong position early on, and it makes it very hard for you to be able to get back into position in the downward half. So one of the things that I want you to remember at home is that the shoulders are going to be turned by the torso. You rotate your core, that's going to rotate your shoulders. Your shoulders have some completely different other functions that can help you get the elbows in the correct positions from the takeaway up to the top of the swing and even into impact. And if you have your shoulders working against you, then it's going to make it impossible for you to get your elbows in the right spot. But one of the things I also want you to start thinking about between now and the videos that are going to be coming out later in the week is that you can actually rotate the wrists and the forearms independently from the upper portion of the arm. So I want you to think about the elbow as being like a divider. If you get the elbows in the right spot, that's considered safe by today's standards, with the understanding of why these faults would actually cause deterioration in your elbows, then there's a pretty good chance that you can start to learn how to rotate your wrists independently. But you won't get your elbows in the right spot unless you understand how your shoulders should be operating in the swing. And so this was a great view for us to be able to see this very closely. At address, you're going to notice that Rory has his elbow pit pointed out away from him, kind of on both sides of the body, right? You can see the elbow pit's pointed out away. This lead elbow is kind of turned internally towards his rib cage, which is counterintuitive. That's actually external rotation. And now if you look at that elbow position specifically, and then you look at it at impact, I want you to look at it very closely to see if you can see the difference. Okay, that elbow on the lead side is pointed directly down the target line. If that elbow is pointed in that position, then you've got a really good chance to be able to keep the elbow safe. But as soon as that elbow starts to turn in towards the body before the point of contact starts to take place, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to be a happy camper. And the same thing would apply from the trail side. If you look at the trail side on the way down, what I want you to notice is that that trail elbow pit stays pointed out in front of him for a very long period of time. In fact, you can see it at impact that it hasn't turned to where we can see any part of that trail elbow at all. We won't see the trail elbow until the hands and arms are long past the body. And the reason why that's extremely important is because, again, when you think about the contact, the collision with the golf ball and the collision with the ground, and you have your elbows in the wrong spot, what can that actually do to your body? I want you to think about that because we're going to help you out with that later on in the week. We'll see you guys in the next video.